math, reading, social studies.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Granger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
With NFL Plus, keep the NFL in reach. Stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile during the regular and postseason. NFL Network, including 7 exclusive live games, live game audio, and more. With NFL Plus Premium, watch every touchdown every Sunday afternoon during the regular season on NFL Red Zone. Never miss a game with game replays and track advanced analytics powered by Next Gen Stats with NFL Pro. Sign up today at plus.nfl.com/radio. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Monday when the Detroit Lions visit the Baltimore Ravens. Our coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Kickoff at 8:15. Listen to the live stream for free at westwood1sports.com or in the Westwood One Sports app. If it's Monday Night Football, it's on Westwood One. Rush, you've pointed to a couple of different games of the week. I got to tell you something. Monday Night Football between the Lions and Ravens, not just based upon last year, but based upon where things are through 2 weeks this year. This is not just a contender for game of the week. This might be one of the games of the year.
No, you're right about that. And I think the fact, Scott, that they're both 1-1 makes it even juicier. I know probably if they were both undefeated, maybe it would get even more attention. 2-0 versus 2-0. And we have some of those matchups this weekend. But these are two teams with legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. So the last thing they want to do is get below 500 after 3 games and fall to 1-2. I think Lions fans breathed a gigantic sigh of relief after they saw the offense and how they operated against the Chicago Bears last Sunday. I mean, they needed that. They needed that in the worst way. I think there were some legitimate concerns that their high-powered offense left when Ben Johnson left for Chicago. That was not the case. That looked like the Lions, right? The under-center play action with Jared Goff, the bootlegs, explosive 50 points. I mean, that's the Lions that their fans have come to know and love over the last couple of years under Dan Campbell. Meanwhile, for the Ravens, their offense is always good. The question was really about the defense. After that fourth quarter meltdown against the Bills, they looked much better on that side of the ball against Cleveland, including turning Joe Flacco over multiple times, which really broke the game open.
Ross, enjoy your trip to Nashville. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, Scott.
See, he doesn't plug himself. I do the plugging for him. That's going to do it for this edition of NFL Preview. Reminder to join us this weekend for Sunday Night Football. Ryan Rackey, Mike Golick have all the action as the New York Giants host the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll kick off the broadcast with scores and highlights from around the league on NFL Sunday at 7:30 Eastern Time. The producer of NFL Preview, Jordan Markovic, executive producer Mike Eby, the senior vice president of sports for Cumulus Media and Westwood One is Bruce Gilbert. Now for Ross Tucker, I'm Scott Graham. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to NFL Preview on Westwood One.
Wake up with Boomer and Geo, mornings 6 to 10 on WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1, New York, and Odyssey Sports Stations.
WFAN Sports Flash.
Good morning. At 8 o'clock, I'm Tony Pierno. Aaron Judge continued his pursuit of a second straight MVP award last night by belting his 49th home run of the season in the Yankees' 6-1 victory over the Orioles. Judge is now batting .329 on the season with 49 home runs, 105 RBI, and 129 runs scored.
That's what I try to do, is try to improve every year for my first year in the big leagues. That's what New York demands. That's what these fans deserve, is to have the best players on the field at all times. So I'm just always trying to improve and, get my best for them.
Judge speaking with Susan Wallman here on The Fan. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 21st home run of the year. The Yankees are now 50-7 when both Stanton and Judge homer in the same game. The Nationals snapped their 11-game losing streak in Flushing as they outlasted the Mets in 11 innings 5-3. Nolan McLean delivered another strong outing, allowing just one earned run in his 5 innings of work. The rookie now owns a 1.27 ERA through his first 7 MLB starts.
I felt like my stuff felt good. First couple innings could have done a much better job getting ahead. And then also once I got to 2 strikes, did a better job expanding the zone and throw a few more put-away pitches.
The Mets' lead in the National League wild card race is now down to just 1 after the Reds doubled up the Cubs 6-3. Cincinnati also holds the tiebreaker over the Mets. NFL today, the Jets will meet up with an old friend as they battle Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is off to a 2-0 start for the 4th straight season under Bowles. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock, and the Giants will play the Chiefs in their home opener. Big Blue is 7-0 all-time at home against Kansas City. Kickoff this evening is at 8:20 with coverage here on The Fan beginning at 6:20 p.m. 60 degrees under mostly cloudy skies in Central Park, and that's what's happening. I'm Tony Pierno.
Talk New York sports here. The Fan. It's Sunday morning. Time to take a spin around the NFL. This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry Week 3 NFL Sunday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet on The Fan. Nick Kostos here with you for the next 60 minutes, talking all things betting and fantasy, week number 3 in the National Football League. You can hit me up on Twitter at the Kostos, TheKostos. The show is on Twitter at You Better You Bet, and you can subscribe to the show in podcast form. Just search You Bet wherever you find your podcasts. I'm on like 100 hours a week. Search You Bet wherever you find your podcast to subscribe to You Better You Bet. And the show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. The phone number to chime in on bets, on fantasy, on football, 888-808-1019, 888-808-1019. All right, you know how we do. Nick Kostos and you, each and every NFL Sunday morning here on The Fan. Side total and props for every game on the board in the fastest show in all of wagertainment. And it starts right now. Eddie, bring it up. Yes. Yes. It's Sunday. You know what that means? Football. 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 Hell yeah. Let's get it today. Week number 3 in the National Football League. The show begins in the Music City as we take our jaunt through every game on the board with the Colts and the Titans in Tennessee. And we will get to the Giants on Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Giants getting a good piece of injury news over the last 24 hours or so. Looks like Andrew Thomas will make his season debut for Big Blue. We will get to the Jets and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the game I am calling the Todd Bowl. You see what I did there? But as always, we go through the board in rotation order at BetMGM. So we start in the AFC South, where Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones, 2-0, looking like one of the best quarterbacks in football. Yet another stinging indictment of Joe Shane and Brian Dable. And look, I wanted Daniel Jones out of town. I'm sure you, if you're a Giants fan listening or watching on YouTube, you wanted Daniel Jones out of town. But man, it's like they're sticking the knife in. And they're twisting that son of a bitch. Oh, man, Daniel Jones has been awesome, and you hate to see it if you are a fan of the New York Football Giants. Indy, a 4.5-point road favorite in this game, and it's been one-way betting action over the course of this week. But all on the road favorite Indianapolis. The total is 43.5. Injury stuff in this game. Tyler Warren is good to go. He is going to play for the Colts. He's one of the favorites for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Absolute stud at the tight end position. He was questionable, didn't practice earlier in the week. He is good to go. Get him in your fantasy lineups. And for the Titans, we talked about this last week, impacting Tennessee on both lines of scrimmage. T'Vondre Sweat, who was like 400 pounds. Keith's grandson. I was going to do a line from the Kanye West song Slow Jams. I think it's too early on a Sunday morning. We'll pass from that. T'Vondre Sweat is out. That's bad. Opposite Jeffrey Simmons on the Titans defensive line. And J.C. Latham, Tennessee's right tackle, is also out, helping the matchup for Indianapolis. So the Colts have been awesome. Shane Steichen getting the job done. And it looks like he made the right call with Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. Jonathan Taylor, a.k.a. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Shout out to all the real ones that get that reference. He has been so good this year, and you know that if you have him in fantasy football, and I can tell everybody, just from the people that I deal with, both on air, on You Bet or You Bet, and off air that I really respect in the betting space, Jonathan Taylor is a very hot bet right now in Offensive Player of the Year at price, which does not mean he's going to win, but really smart people are betting Jonathan Taylor ahead of this game this week after what he's done the first couple weeks in this Indianapolis Colts offense. So it's been all rosy. The vibes are sky high right now for the Colts, even if, and if you were with me and you bet the Broncos last week, these NFL games can just be soul-crushing at the very end, the knife edge of these games, with the Broncos losing on a leverage penalty. Hell, maybe you, like I did. Now, I pushed with Auburn yesterday, but if you took 6.5 with Auburn and Jackson Arnold gets sacked 3 times on the final couple plays, including a safety on 4th and 29 to lose by 7, it's been that kind of start to the season. We hope to karmically turn things around here. So the Colts are 2-0. The vibes are high. For the Tennessee Titans, not so much. Titans sitting at 0-2. Brian Callahan might be the worst coach in the league. He's absolutely terrible. And Cam Ward has shown flashes of talent and ability, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, the starting quarterback. But man, not a lot of talent on this Tennessee Titans roster. Now, I give you all of that to say this. To the Giants fans out there listening and watching. Were our eyes wrong over the past few years? Wrong! Is it possible that all of us collectively were wrong on Daniel Jones? And he's actually awesome. Like, doesn't turn it over anymore, doesn't put the ball on the ground. Like the captain of a ship that is looking great right now. Is it possible we were all wrong? I don't think we were. I think we were right. And we still give Daniel Jones credit for the start of the season. This is the first road game this year for the Indianapolis Colts. I will pay to see it with Indianapolis. I'll pay to see them win this game in blowout fashion. This is a huge number for them to be favored by on the road. And it's both optimism in Indy and pessimism with the Tennessee Titans. I'll take a piece of the Tennessee Titans today at a huge number. Small bet for me, but I will take the Titans plus the 4.5. And again, this is just like, if Indy goes out there and wins this game by 7 points, by 10 points, by more, I will tip the cap to Indianapolis and say, you know what? I think this team is for real at 3-0. And maybe they win by 3 and they go to 3-0. This is not Indianapolis. This number is not Indianapolis wins the game. This number is Indianapolis wins the game by margin. I'll pay to see it. I'll take a piece of the Tennessee Titans. Remember them? At plus 4.5. As far as props go. Now, I'll talk about Tyjae Spears a little bit in the fantasy segment. Tony Pollard remains the locked-in number 1 running back for the Titans, and I think Tennessee will run the ball and run the ball and run the ball some more. Tony Pollard over 70.5 rushing yards in this game for the Titans. Couple anytime touchdowns. I bet A.D. Mitchell touchdown every week because I think he's awesome and he gets targets from Daniel Jones. If you don't want to make this bet, I totally understand. I've bet it each of the first 2 weeks of the season. He has yet to score. The anytime touchdowns are small money bets. But again, A.D. Mitchell for me. And Chimere Dike is one of Tennessee's rookie receivers. Now, Alec Ayamaner is getting all the praise right now, and he's been great to start the year. Caught that ridiculous pass from Cam Ward, rolling to his right, like across his body, all the way to the other side of the field to the left. Caught that touchdown pass from Cam Ward, and he has 13 targets this year, Ayamaner does, to Calvin Ridley's 14. So they're basically like the 1A and 1B in this Titans pass-catching group, but don't sleep on the other Titans rookie wide receiver, Chimere Dike, who not only gets the ball in the passing game, but they also use him like in end arounds, and I think we might see that down by the goal line this week. So a small money bet on Chimere Dike, anytime touchdown for the Tennessee Titans. Moving on. Packers and the Browns in Cleveland. Green Bay, a 7.5-point road favorite in this game. The total is 41.5. Injury stuff here. Jaden Reed is out, and he's going to be out like 6 to 8 weeks with a broken collarbone for the Green Bay Packers. That helps Dontavian Wicks and should help rookie Matthew. You're so golden. Da-na-na-na, da-da-na-na-na. Tucker Kraft, Green Bay star tight end, he got hurt late in the week in practice, but he should be good to go. And like the reports came out like he was going to be out for the season, and he's going to play in today's game. Now just keep an eye out for this. If Kraft, for whatever reason, does not play, Luke Musgrave is the backup. Bill's son is the backup tight end for the Green Bay Packers. As far as the Browns go, a couple offensive linemen, Batonio and Jack Conklin, are both questionable. We think that both will play for the Cleveland Browns. So I said the number here is 7.5. Green Bay a 7.5-point favorite. And through 2 weeks, I don't even know what the argument is against the Packers being the best team in the league. Now, again, we're only through 2 weeks of the season. Things can and will change. But the Packers absolutely dominant against two teams in the Commanders and the Lions that both played in divisional weekend last year in the NFC playoffs. And Green Bay absolutely throttled both of them. Micah Parsons has transformed this defense. Jordan Love, I love Love, man. Chucking the ball down the field. High average depth of target. Matt LaFleur, in addition to having a great fade, that guy gets his haircut, I feel like, twice a week. And I appreciate that as someone who gets his haircut once a week. LaFleur doing a great job calling the plays. And despite that, and despite the Browns being 0-2, the betting action in this game has been all towards Cleveland. This might come down to Green Bay -7 in this game. And you might be asking yourself, well, Green Bay's best team in the league. The Browns stink. The Browns are 0-2. Why in the world would the Browns be getting bet? The answer, they held the Bengals to 17 points in week 1, and it really should have won that game. Couple dropped passes that led directly to Bengals interceptions. The young kicker missing a 36-yard field goal and an extra point for Cleveland. Cleveland probably should have beaten the Bengals in week 1. And then last week against Baltimore, if you look at the final score, the Ravens crushed them, right? 41-17, the final score of that game. But if you take a closer look at the box score, and I don't mean to be like a box score monkey here, right? They took the box score. But you know what? It is true. It is a very unflattering final score to the Cleveland Browns. Browns ran more plays, had more total yards. The defense was actually not that bad, just that the dam broke eventually, and Lamar was hyper efficient. None of this is me saying that I want to bet the Browns in this game, or that I think the Browns are going to win. Just that's the reason why, in case anyone's wondering, why would people be betting the Browns? I think it's optimism in this Cleveland Browns defense up against this Green Bay Packers offense. But where I come down on this one is, yes, the Browns defense has been better than expected and has been very good. The Packers defense is absolutely ridiculous. And keep an eye on Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. If this keeps up, he's going to be a head coach in the NFL next season. And he left Boston College a couple of years ago because BC didn't have any NIL money to spend, and he went to the NFL. People were like, oh, he left being a college head coach to go be an NFL defensive coordinator. What an idiot. Well, joke's on you, Slappy. He's probably going to be a head coach next year in the NFL. So what I want to do with this game, I'd consider laying Green Bay, but I want a 7. If you're out there listening or watching and you like Cleveland and you agree with the Browns' defensive analysis, you should bet 7.5 because I think this may go down to 7. And if you like Green Bay, wait for it to potentially go down to 7. I like the under in the game, and I like the Browns' team total under, but see if you can find a 17.5 that's not terribly expensive. 17.5 is the number we want, but we don't want to pay a ton of juice for it. I don't think Cleveland's going to score a lot, and if I had to bet the game, like I said, I would bet Green Bay, but I want to get a 7. Yardage prop here. Let's go with Harold. Fannin. A couple people got that reference. I'm not going to say what the reference is, but if you got that, you, sir or ma'am, are a real one. Fannin. Anytime touchdowns. Let's go with, shaken, not stirred. His name is Bond. Isaiah Bond. For the Cleveland Browns, who's starting to get more involved in this passing game, overtaking Jamari Thrash as Cleveland's number 3 wide receiver. And with the Jaden Reed injury in the Packers receiving core, we know that Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur love to spread the ball around. Let's take a shot, and again, as always, small money bets here, on 2 of the Packers wide receivers at long odds. That would be Malik Heathcliff, no one should terrorize your neighborhood, and Savion Williams, who may or may not be related to Savio Vega. Shout out to the Puerto Rican former WWE superstar. All right, backup quarterback bowl in Minnesota with the Vikings and the Bengals. Carson Wentz starts for Minnesota, and Jake Browning starts for Cincinnati with Joe Burrow out, obviously, for at least 3 months. I think he's done for the year with that turf toe injury. So Wentz and Browning, the starting quarterbacks in this game. Elsewhere, injury-wise, Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. 281-33-8004. He's on injured reserve, which means that Jordan Mason will be Minnesota's number 1 running back and should see a ton of work, not just today, but moving forward in the Vikings offense. Minnesota does have a lot going on in addition to Aaron Jones injury-wise. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy's out since Carson Wentz is starting. McCarthy, high ankle sprain. He'll be out 2 to 4 weeks. Christian Darrisaw, Minnesota star left tackle. He is expected to play today and make his season debut. Andrew Van Ginkel, star pass rusher, expected to play. And long-in-the-tooth safety Harrison Smith expected to play. Ryan Kelly, Minnesota center, is out for this game. So I'm sick, right? And I don't mean that in like I'm under the weather. Like I'm a little nuts, right? So it's funny when you see things, what it jogs in your memory, right? So back in the day when I started dating my now wife, because like the first year we dated during football season, I'm like, yeah, I got to watch college football and the NFL. And it was like, really? Do you really have to do that? And in order to keep my relationship going, I have basically had to try and punt as much college football as I can on Saturday, since I work all the time and I'm watching all the NFL games. So I have these memories of being around, it's the holiday season, when the NFL has the Saturday games. And I'm generally in the car. We're driving somewhere, going to hang out, whatever. And I remember a couple years ago, do I remember? Yes, I do. I do remember. Driving around Manhattan a couple years ago, in 2023, listening to Vikings, Bengals on the radio. And on the radio. Lots of references here. And Jake Browning threw for 324 yards in that game with Joe Burrow out against the Brian Flores defense. And the Bengals beat the Vikings 27-24. I think Jake Browning can have success throwing the ball in this game to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins against the Brian Flores defense. And on the flip side, I still think J.J. McCarthy can be good, but he has been terrible to start the season for Minnesota. Now, it's possible that Carson Wentz will be worse. I'm not sure how. And this Bengals defense is hot garbage. I like the over in this game. Small bet on the over. I stink at total, so I don't want to put a large bet on it. Small bet over 41.5. And if I had to bet the side of the game, I guess I would take Cincinnati plus the 3, because Carson Wentz favored by 3 in the year of our Lord 2025. It does not inspire a ton of confidence in yours truly. 1 yardage prop here. T. Higgins has been the better receiver, fantasy-wise and prop betting-wise, catching passes from Jake Browning over Jamar Chase. And I think that everyone knowing that has been baked into this market. And Chase, I think this number's a little low. And I expect Chase to outperform his former LSU teammate on the other side, Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase over receiving yards today for Cincinnati. 2 anytime touchdowns at long prices. Xavier Scott, Professor X they call him, except his name starts with a Z instead of an X. Xavier Scott was a preseason star for Minnesota. He will be the Vikings' new number 2 running back behind Jordan Mason with Aaron Jones on IR. Xavier Scott, anytime touchdown. And then I told you about this guy a couple weeks ago. Mitchell Tinsley, Jamal's son. He was a monster for Cincinnati in the preseason. Had a ridiculous touchdown catch last week from Jake Browning, which Jamar Chase gave one of the great quotes that you'll ever hear in a press conference this week, talking about Mitchell Tinsley. Chase goes, I told him, meaning Tinsley, he's going to be someone else's number 1 receiver. Just like the arrogance and the confidence behind that statement is unbelievable from Jamar Chase. Mitchell Tinsley, anytime touchdown for the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, Steelers and the Patriots in New England. When Tom Brady was around, it feels like the Patriots beat the Steelers like a drum. But Tom Brady not there anymore. Steelers, a 1.5-point road favorite. Total in the game is 44.5. Christian Gonzalez remains out. New England star number 1 corner. I would expect him back next week for the Patriots. He did get some practices in this week. And for the Steelers, down a number of players on defense. Joey Porter Jr., their star corner. Safety Deshaun Elliott. And Alex Highsmith, one of their other pass rushers opposite TJ Watt. He's going to be out a number of weeks with a high ankle sprain. Derek Harmon is expected to make his season debut. Pittsburgh's first-round pick along the defensive line. This game absolutely flummoxes me. I want to bet the Steelers, but there's no way I can bring myself to click that button. Pittsburgh's defense has been an abject failure and disaster this year, and there's no reason for it. The defense is stocked with talent at all 3 levels. It's the most expensive defense in the league. It's veteran-laden. And many of them have been in the system for a long time. And I'm not a Mike Tomlin basher, but let's call it like we see it. This has been a total failure for Mike Tomlin this year for the Steelers on the defensive side of the ball. And you can certainly make the case that this is going to be a huge game for who? Drake? It's gonna, it's gonna be May. And New England. Could the Patriots score like 27 points in this game? The Steelers' defense has been terrible. And on the flip side, is the Steelers' offense closer to what it was last week when they scored 17 against Seattle, or the one that destroyed the Jets in week 1? I'm not going to bet this game, but the information that I will give everybody, you do what you want with this, like make your own decisions. It's your money, not mine. All the people I associate with that I respect all think this is a WTF game. Mine's out of the gutter. That stands for wrong team favored. I will pass this game, but I know a lot of people that are betting the New England Patriots. I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots closed a favorite before kickoff. 1 yardage prop. With Christian Gonzalez out, let's go to Eric's son, DK Metcalf, over receiving yards. And the anytime touchdown prices, candidly, like they suck in this game. The prices, I would take a piece of Darnell Washington at the longest price you can find, but like none of these prices are very good. Divisional round rematch in Philadelphia with the Eagles and the Rams. Philly, a 3.5-point favorite, although I expect this to come down to 3. Total in this game, 44.5. The Rams without one of their starting guards, Steve Avila. That's bad, going up against Jalen Carter and the Eagles' defensive front. Dallas Goedert returns for the Eagles in this game. He missed last week's win on the road in Kansas City. So this is another game, and I've given you a couple of these already, where basically everyone I deal with and talk to likes one side. And the side that they all like in this game is the Los Angeles Rams. Now, if you're out there listening or watching the show on YouTube, shout out to you. We appreciate it. If you like the Rams, like, bet this now. Like, make sure you get 3.5. And if you like the Eagles, you lose nothing by waiting. I don't think this ever goes up to 4. And I think there's a really, really strong chance this goes down to 3. So if you like the Eagles, my advice is wait. If you like the Rams, I would make this bet now because I don't think the 3.5 is going to last for that much longer. And for the people that like the Rams, it's an easy case. The Rams almost maybe should have beaten the Eagles in the divisional round game in January in the snow, and now they have Devontae Adams to go along with Puka Nacua in this passing game, and Matthew Stafford is Pro Football Focus's #1 rated passer through 2 weeks, despite being 37 years old and having a bad back. And look, the Eagles' offense has been brutal to start the year, despite Philly's 2-0 start, right? It has not been great. And some are saying that Kevin Patullo is the Italian Brian Johnson, Philly's offensive coordinator from a couple years ago, who was an absolute disaster. And Kevin Patullo, we hope he's not a disgrace to Italians. We'll find out, but it has not been good for the Eagles' offensive coordinator. My take on Philly and the Eagles' offense, and I know if you're out there listening, watching, you probably are not thrilled with A.J. Brown, not thrilled with Devontae Smith, not even thrilled with Saquon Barkley with the way they've started the year in terms of fantasy. This team's too smart, and as a Giants fan, it kills me to say this, but I have to tell the truth, right? They know what happened a couple years ago in 2023 when this offense went completely off the rails with Brian Johnson calling the plays. I don't think they let it happen. And Akello Witherspoon is out for the Rams in their secondary, which means that Emmanuel Forbes becomes the #1 corner, and A.J. Brown has dusted Emmanuel Forbes. So I'm going to go against the grain here. I want to get a 3. And I want to bet the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. But not 3.5. I want to lay 3 with the Eagles. And again, if you like the Rams, make sure you get plus 3.5. Yardage props? Somebody call Debbie. Let's go Dallas. Goddard. Over 30.5 receiving yards. He has crushed the Rams in the last couple times they have played. Anytime touchdowns, let's go with Blake Corum, who has been eating into Kyron Williams' workload. Blake Corum needs to be owned in every fantasy league. And the Rams have a 3-man tight end rotation. Let's play the one at the longest odds. We will go with Clarissa's brother from Clarissa Explains It All. Shout out to Melissa Joan Hart. That would be Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson. And if you get that again, you are a big-time real one. All right, Jets fans, let's talk about your team. It is the Todd Bowl in Tampa Bay with the Bucs 6.5-point favorites against the Jets. Total in this game is sitting at 43. Emeka Egbuka is going to play for the Buccaneers today. He had been questionable, and apparently he's full go with no restrictions. He has been a beast to start the year, 3 touchdowns in 2 games. Obviously, Justin Fields is out for the Jets. Tyrod Taylor will start. Fields was ruled out on Wednesday, so we've known for 5 days that Tyrod is going to play. Jermaine Johnson out, rushing the passer for the Jets. Josh Reynolds, the Rap, the Jets' #2 receiver. What a funny sentence. He is out for gangrene. And for Tampa, down 3/5 of the starting offensive line. Both tackles, Wirfs and Gutticke, and guard Cody Mauch. So, if you're Aaron Glenn, this is put up or shut up time for you and your defense. For all the talk and all the bluster and the cutting Xavier Gibson and we're not going to let people like that say, then you have to cut everyone on the roster after last week's disgrace against the Buffalo Bills. It's time for this Jets defense to show something. Tampa's down 3 of 5 starting offensive linemen. Quinnen Williams is on record this week for the Jets saying that all the defenders looked themselves in the eye to a man after the game against Buffalo and said, never again, no more. There are no moral victories in the National Football League. Jerry Eisenberg wrote a book following the 1989 New York Football Giants, one of my favorite sports books. The title, No Medals for Trying. And we all collectively wanted to give the Jets a medal and a moral victory and a participation trophy because they played well against the Steelers in Week 1. Guess what? They lost. And I'm not trying to be a hater here. Let's just call it like it is, right? For all the bluster about this team, go out there and at least keep this game close today. And you want to see a good defensive effort. And obviously, the Jets fans, you want to see your team win this game, you better get a better effort than you got last week against the Bills. Because if not, 0-3 and not looking good early in the Aaron Glenn era. As far as the point spread goes, this was 7 earlier in the week. It's come off 7 with all the Bucs injuries, and I think that's right. If you wanted to bet the Jets, I think 7 was the time to grab them. I'm passing this game, but I want to offer something pro sports bettor Rob Bozzolo, who comes on You Better You Bet every Thursday. He likes Tampa's team total under, expecting the Bucs to struggle on offense here. But, do you like the Jets to score a ton of points? And to be fair to Todd Bowles, it feels like he's all of a sudden become a good game manager after the first 2 games of the season for the 2-0 Bucs. I think we may see dogs and cats flying at some point. So pass for me. if you had to bet the game, Bucks team total under for a small bet. Yardage prop, Tyrod Taylor over 22.5 rushing yards. I love that. And let's play Jeremy Ruckert and Isaiah Davis anytime touchdowns for Gang Green. All right, Super Bowl 18 rematch with the Commanders and the Raiders. No Marcus Allen in this one. Running into the night. Jaden Daniels out for the Commanders with a knee injury. He's expected back next week. Marcus Mariota will start for Washington. Noah Brown is out. That means Jalen Lane, Nathan's son, adopted, will be the Commanders' number 3 receiver. Brock Bowers is going to play, but still feels like Brock. He gave John Cena 6 F5s last night at WrestlePalooza, and now he's playing in this game. That's impressive. Brock Bowers is going to go for the Raiders, but might not be 100%. So it looks like this number is going to come off 3. And I think we'll see Commanders minus 2.5 at some point before kickoff. I would only bet the Commanders in this game. I think the Raiders stink. I think Geno stinks. I know this defense stinks. So Commanders are nothing for me. I do like the over a little bit if I had to play the total, where I don't love the Commanders defense, and I certainly don't love the Raiders defense. If I'm in a pick 'em pool or you're just picking winners of games, I do think the Commanders will win this game today against the Raiders. Yardage props. Now, if you drafted Ashton Genty early in fantasy, like I did in some leagues, you were not happy watching Monday Night Football, him being pulled off the field for luminaries like Zamir White and Dylan Laub. I'm not scared. That's like you win fantasy football by being aggressive and taking shots and showing courage. And I'll show that today with that Gucci, that Genty, that Prada, that BCBG Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana. Ashton Genty over 55.5 rushing yards. Shout out to Curtis Jackson. Genty over rushing yards. Anytime touchdowns. With Austin Eckler out for the season for Washington, I would expect Jeremy McNichols to take over as the passing down back. McNichols anytime touchdown. Dylan Laub anytime touchdown at a small price, for small money. And Michael Mayer anytime touchdown. He's the Raiders' other tight end with Brock Bowers not 100%. Falcons and the Panthers in Carolina. Atlanta, a 5.5-point road favorite total, 43.5. Falcons top corner A.J. Terrell will miss this game. He is out. That helps the matchup for Tet McMillan. The Panthers are down 2 starting offensive linemen on IR, Austin Corbett and Robert Hunt. If you bet Arizona, or if you bet Arizona last week minus the 6.5, you did not like watching Bryce Young strolling through the back door at the end of that game like I did. That was absolutely terrible. But it took them until the end of the game to get going. And this Atlanta pass rush last week against Minnesota was fearsome. And they've got 4 impact rookies right now on this defense. Corner Billy Bowman, safety Xavier Watts, and the 2 pass rushers in the first round, Jalen Walker and James Pierce. Now, the betting move from midweek has all been on Carolina. That's off the A.J. Terrell injury, and maybe organic interest in the Panthers, with the thought being the line's a little too big on Atlanta. I don't hold that opinion. I still think Bryce Young is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. I love me some Michael Penix Jr. Bijan Robinson has been on a tear, and I do think this Falcons defense has some juice. Falcons or nothing for me laying the lumber on the road in Carolina. Yardage prop. Here's to you, Bijan Robinson. Run the ball all over the Panthers. Panthers. Bijan over 80.5 rushing yards, anytime touchdowns. Bryson Tremaine is a real person. He's eating into Xavier Legette snaps. Legette might be the worst regular starting receiver in the league. Bryson Tremaine, anytime touchdown for Carolina. And if you think Atlanta wins big, let's play Tyler Algier last touchdown, not anytime, last touchdown for Tyler Algier for the Atlanta Falcons. Jaguars and the Texans in Jacksonville, in Duval. Jags a 1.5-point favorite, total in the game 43.5. Christian Kirk, the captain, back for the Houston Texans, making his season debut. And this Texans offense has been a train wreck to start the year, like it ended last year. The offensive line is once again horrendous. The new offense, meet the new offensive coordinator, same as the old offensive coordinator, with Nick Caley. Great first name, lacking brain cells, replacing the overmatched Bobby Slowick. Brutal red zone and goal line play calling on Monday night for the Texans against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a close Houston loss. For Jacksonville, a terrible loss for them last week against Cincinnati and Jake Browning. Trevor Lawrence still is inaccurate. He's getting into it with his head coach, and the Jaguars receivers can't catch. De'Ami Brown dropping passes. Brian Thomas Jr. making business decisions all over the field. He's been absolutely terrible to start the year. But I'm not panicking. Now, a lot of people, again, the context I always want to give you, a lot of people like the Texans in this matchup. 0-2, desperate team. If I had to bet this game, I'd lay the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think you get a much better Brian Thomas Jr. performance, and if we don't, then we can start to sound the alarm bells. I think we get a great dun-dun, time to play the game. A good Travis Hunter performance in this game. And most importantly, and I'll get to this with props in a second, I think the Jaguars will run it all over Houston like Tampa did on Monday. Remember where Liam Cohen was last year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you think they're running the same concepts that Liam Cohen ran? I would think so. I like the Jaguars here. Not a tremendous amount, but if I had to bet the game, I would lay Jacksonville. Yardage props. I want to give a shout out to young Hunter listening to the show right now, who tried to tell his dad, don't panic on Brian Thomas Jr. And I agree. I think Brian Thomas Jr. has a nice game. I think Travis Hunter has a nice game, but the guy I want to bet is Rootin' Scootin' Bayshal Tootin'. Currently Jacksonville's RB2. I think he will soon be Jacksonville's RB1. Tootin' over 22.5 rushing yards. Anytime touchdown. Give me Parker Washington, George's great-grandson. Afternoon slate, AFC West, Chargers, a 3-point home favorite against the Denver Broncos, total 46. I just want to say this off the bat. Evan Engram is not playing in this game. Will Dissly is not playing in this game, the two starting tight ends. Both are currently still listed in the anytime touchdown market at BetMGM. My show sponsor, but listen, they've got guys who are not playing in the game listed in the market. So if you wanted to bet Adam Troutman or Tyler Conklin, the two other tight ends for Denver and the Chargers respectively, you could do that and get a better price now than you would in a couple hours. Doesn't mean the bets will hit, but just saying. So the Chargers have looked awesome at 2-0. Throwing the ball all over the yard, mostly because I feel like they can't run block. But Justin Herbert's been great. And Denver had that insane loss last week with the leverage call at the end of the game. Sean Payton routinely blowing the ends of games now. Don't believe me? He said it after each of the first two games this season that he needs to do a better job. A lot of people are going to like the Chargers here. Not me. Broncos country, let's ride. I love the Broncos in this game. I want to get the full 3. That number is available right now at BetMGM. Broncos +3. This will be the best defense Justin Herbert has faced. And without Khalil Mack, who's going to be out a while with a dislocated elbow, suffered on Monday night, I got concerns about this Chargers pass rush against a very good Broncos offensive line. Broncos +3, my favorite bet of the day. Yardage prop. Let's go with Phil's son, Ladd McConkey. They're actually not related, which is unbelievable. Two white wide receivers with the last name McConkey. Shout out to Super Bowl 21 champion Phil McConkey. Ladd McConkey over 66.5 receiving yards and the anytime touchdowns. I would bet those tight ends now. Not that they're going to hit, but you'll get a better price now than you would before kickoff. Seahawks and the Saints in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle down to a 7-point favorite in this game. Total 41.5. All the betting action has been on New Orleans. And I was telling Ed Arzuman, Zoo on the other side of the glass, he took Seattle in Survivor, and he's a little concerned about the line movements. I think Seattle's likely to win. I think that the move on New Orleans is bettor's skepticism that Seattle can win a game by margin. I know they beat the Steelers by 14 last week. Consider the ridiculous kickoff play with Caleb Johnson that went over his head that Seattle scored for a touchdown. Zach Charbonnet is doubtful. This should be the Kenneth Walker show for the Seattle Seahawks in the run game. And one thing that's really important, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Seattle, who's one of the best receivers in the league, was added yesterday to the injury report with an illness. Adam Schefter tweeted right before I came on the air at 8 a.m. Eastern. He is expected to play with that illness and be fine, but they're going to run him through pregame warmups to make sure. So if you've got JSN in fantasy, obviously you want to play him. Just make sure in those pregame warmups, 90 minutes before kickoff, you've got notifications turned on your phone. Make sure that JSN is playing for Seattle. We think he will, but just make sure. Spencer Rattler has actually been pretty decent for the Saints at the quarterback position. But the reason why I wouldn't bet New Orleans, I don't know how many points they're going to score in this game against the Seattle defense. I've got no strong opinion on this game. If the number were to ever drop to 6.5, which I don't think it will, I would bet Seattle. I think all the value in New Orleans is gone. If JSN plays, 70.5 is a joke for his receiving yards. First number should be an 8. JSN over 70.5. Obviously, we want to make sure he plays. The touchdown prices suck in this game. I would take a shot on Kendre Miller or Elijah Arroyo if you have the stomach. Niners and the Cardinals in the Bay Area. We've got some betting move on this game. I'm going to do a quick little refresh here. We are at, Niners 2.5 is the number, but the Cardinals are getting bet. Total 45.5. Arizona secondary is a mash unit. Star rookie corner who could win Defensive Rookie of the Year if he stays on the field. Will Johnson is doubtful. Max Melton is questionable. Garrett Williams was placed on IR earlier this week, so this is all backups basically starting for the Cardinals in the secondary. Mac Jones will start again at quarterback for San Francisco. Jawan Jennings is expected to play, but he missed practice on Friday. Keep an eye on that. I think this is such a tough game to call. I want to bet Arizona, but the secondary concerns make me nervous. If I had to bet the game, I would take Arizona, but I want to get 3. I don't think we'll ever get there. I think this is a pass for me. I would take Arizona if I had to do anything, but I don't have to, so I won't. 1 yardage prop. Let's go with Ricky. Living La Vida Loca. Ricky Pearsall over 56. That was a stretch. His last name should really be Martin. Ricky Pearsall over 56.5 receiving yards. And Luke Farrell, anytime touchdown for the Niners. Their backup tight end with Jake Tonjes with George Kittle on IR. Cowboys and the Bears in Chicago. Dallas, a 1-point road favorite. Total in the game is 50.5. The total should start with the 5 because the Cowboys defense is terrible and the offense rules. Deron Bland is out for Dallas. The Bears defense is just crushed by injuries. Number 1 corner Jalen Johnson out for the season. Star slot corner Kyler Gordon is out again. And rangy linebacker who is good in coverage, TJ Edwards, is out for the Chicago Bears. This is a fascinating matchup of Ben Johnson, the Bears head coach and play caller, versus former Bears head coach, now the Cowboys defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. The storylines are rampant in this game, and this is a juicy game. Now, I bet the over earlier this week, and you should listen to You Better You Bet all week long because we're not just parachuting in on Sunday to talk games. This was 48.5, 49, 49.5 when we bet this over. I would still only bet the over now. If I had to bet the side, I would bet Dallas. While acknowledging that, I don't think it's the greatest bet in the world because it's only a 1-point spread and everyone thinks Dallas is better. And the reason is Dallas's defense is terrible. And Giants fans, we know this. Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards last week. And while Caleb Williams was bad Monday Night Football Week 1 against the Vikings, the final score doesn't show it last week against Detroit. He was way better last week throwing the football. And again, Russ threw for 450 yards, and Wan'Dale Robinson looked like Jerry Rice catching passes down the field. So what could Rome Odunze and DJ Moore do in this game? Now, the reason why I wouldn't bet the Bears and would only bet Dallas is because I know Dak Prescott's good. I don't know yet if Caleb Williams is good. So a lean for me towards the Dallas Cowboys. I think this could be a big-time offensive fireworks game like last week was with the Cowboys and the Giants. 1 yardage prop, I want to go with George Pickens, best of times, worst of times with Pickens. I think he benefits with Jalen Johnson out. Pickens over 56.5 receiving yards. And with the Bears run game, so inefficient right now, DeAndre Swift is going to play. Kyle Monangai, their 7th-round rookie, is at a really short price. I'd rather take a shot with Roschon Johnson anytime touchdown for Chicago. And we will close this portion of the show, Sunday Night Football, with the Chiefs and our Giants. Kansas City, a 6-point road favorite. Total is 45. Andrew Thomas is expected to play, make his season debut for the Giants. You'll love that if you're a Giants fan. Xavier Worthy out for Kansas City. He will not play. Now, what I want to see, and I don't think this has been announced, and I'll look during the break to make sure. I would like to see Marcus Bowe play for the Giants also on the offensive line if Andrew Thomas plays. I thought he was great last week in place of James Hudson. And the Giants have gotten bet a little bit from 6.5 down to 6. No Worthy if Andrew Thomas is going to play. And still, I would only bet the Giants at this price. I don't think the Giants will win, but I would only bet the Giants at this price. The Chiefs are lacking explosion in the pass game, and maybe they get it from rookie Jalen. We would want to be Royals. Maybe Jalen Royals is the answer. Maybe he's not. But maybe he introduces something new to the equation for the Chiefs' pass game. The Chiefs have so much trouble with explosive plays and getting the explosives. The Giants have to know that. I think the Chiefs are just going to grind out a close win here. If I had to bet the game, I would actually only bet the New York Football Giants. Now, Travis Kelce's been terrible to start the year for the Chiefs. I think he's the main reason they're 0-2. Head so far up his rear end he can smell the pancakes he had for breakfast. But Giants fans, if we know something, if we know one thing, we know how things have gone in the years since Super Bowl 46. If there were ever going to be a get-right spot for Travis Kelce, it would be national television tonight against our Giants. And if he doesn't go over, and I love his over, and I like him to score a touchdown also, I will gladly say at the conclusion of the game, it's me. Hi. I'm the moron. It's me. Coming up next, fantasy breakdown for every game and a deeper dive into props. Maybe try and sneak in a call or two. 888-808-1019. 888-808-1019. It's You Better You Bet on the Fan with me, Nick Kostos, and you, whoever the hell you are. Presented by BetMGM.
The home of the NFL on Westwood One is WFAN.
He is in for the touchdown!
The Detroit Lions are in Charm City taking on the Ravens. 8:15 tomorrow night. Monday Night Football is on the Fan. 101.9 FM and always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Granger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Sports allow us to play, learn, and grow. But there's something more important than victory. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we believe every athlete deserves to be safe. Safe from abuse and misconduct on and off the field. We equip athletes, parents, coaches, and others with the right education to recognize, prevent, and respond to harmful behavior. Join the movement to champion respect and end abuse at uscenterforsafesport.org.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Granger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Tulsa is my home now.
Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business. We gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm all right. If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King. New season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh, no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
We're always talking New York sports on The Fan.
Town Fair Tire, Connecticut's largest discount tire dealer. Because we give you the guaranteed lowest price and we honor every manufacturer's rebate. We even honor all our competitors' rebates. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Town Fair Tire.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching. All for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Here we go. Count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
This is incredible.
Watch your local NFL game live all season long.
And he's in for a touchdown.
Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Talk sports hands-free. 888-808-1019. Powered by Paramount Plus. Count on Sundays all season long with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. It's Sunday morning. Time to plug into everything NFL. Time for your best bets and fantasy fix. It's time for You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM. Here's your host, Nick Kostos.
Nick Kostos here with you on The Fan. Glorious Week 3 NFL Sunday. 888-808-1019, the phone number. If there's time, we'll try and sneak a couple in. Do you want to give one update on the betting board right now at BetMGM? The Colts are out to 5-point road favorites in Tennessee. I like the Titans in that game plus the points, and it is a little bit of a leap of faith. Kind of a play against Indy, first road game of the season. Make Daniel Jones prove it. Maybe he does. I have a small bet on Tennessee. The number keeps going up, so maybe you even get a better number if you like the Tennessee Titans. All right. Fantasy and prop betting nuggets for every game as we dive deep. How deep? And let's begin with Indianapolis and Tennessee, where you're obviously starting Jonathan Taylor. You're obviously starting Tyler Warren. I would take a look at Tyjae Spears, who's out there on the waiver wire in most leagues. He's Tennessee's number 1 running back, really their 1B. He was placed on IR to start the year. Should be back in week 5. I have stashed him in a couple leagues. If you have an IR spot in your league or a really deep bench and he's out there, I would actually look to grab Tyjae Spears. If I had to pick a Colts wide receiver that I like the most in this game, I would go Michael Pittman. We have seen bigger receivers have success against Tennessee thus far this season. Cortland Sutton, Devontae Adams, chief among them. Packers and the Browns. So with Jaden Reed out, I think there are a lot of excitement among Matthew Golden fantasy owners. Golden, the first-round pick by Green Bay out of Texas. I think Dontavian Wicks really shapes up to be maybe the prime beneficiary here. It's just so hard to trust these Packers receivers. Jordan Love spreads the ball around everywhere. If you need Matthew Golden, I think you could start him, but it does make me a little concerned. Tucker Kraft is apparently good to go. Injury scare late in the week. If for whatever reason he does not go, Luke Musgrave is Green Bay's number 2 tight end. Quinshon Judkins, it was announced overnight, will start this game for the Browns at running back. I would expect Cleveland's running back rotation to be Judkins as the 1, and fellow rookie Dillon, you know what I want? I want to talk to Sampson as the number 2 and Jerome Ford being phased out. I'm not into either Jerry Jeudy or Cedric Tillman this week against Green Bay's tough secondary. Bengals and the Vikings, don't panic on Chase Brown. I actually think the Bengals may run the ball more with Joe Burrow out. Burrow likes to run everything out of the shotgun. Browning more under center plays. That obviously helps Chase Brown. Don't worry about the wide receivers. You start both with confidence every week, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. For the Vikings, T.J. Hawkinson's been terrible, and if you have him in fantasy, you know that. Let's see how he looks in this game against a brutal Bengals defense. And if you've got Jordan Mason, fire him up this week with Aaron Jones on IR. Steelers and the Patriots. I gave DK Metcalf over receiving yards earlier with Christian Gonzalez out. I also kind of like Stone Cold Calvin Austin. Austin 316 says, can he get deep on this Patriots secondary? Possible. I don't hate Calvin Austin in very deep leagues. Maybe Caleb Johnson's a healthy scratch. I don't even know if you can hold him now. The rookie running back for Pittsburgh, who is the clear 3 on the depth chart at running back and is getting pulled off kick returns after his huge faux pas last week. As far as the Patriots go, do not drop Travion Henderson after a couple rough games for him to start the year. He has not been good in pass protection. That's why Antonio Gibson's been playing. Henderson was a pass protection stud at Ohio State. I anticipate this getting better for Travion Henderson. Even if he has a bad game today, do not drop him. I think he will be very good over the course of the season. And just keep an eye out for Patriots rookie receiver Kyle Williams. They're running basically a 5-man committee at receiver. Kyle Williams may pop sooner rather than later. What better place than here? What better time than now against the Steelers' terrible defense? Aw, hell. Can't stop us now. Rams and the Eagles. Start your Eagles. Don't worry. I know it's been bad to start the year. You got to start Brown. You got to start Devontae Smith, Saquon, and Dallas Goedert. And for the Rams, just to reiterate, make sure Blake Corum is either on your team or owned by someone else in every league. He is eating into Kyren Williams' workload in the Rams' backfield. Jets and the Bucks, just to reiterate, Emeka Egbuka was questionable. He's going to play, so if you've got him in fantasy, make sure you fire him up. And I wouldn't chase Rachaad White's game on Monday night. The Bucks are trailing in that game. They were dogs in that game. They're a touchdown favorite just about against the Jets. I think this is a big-time Bucky Irving game, Captain America's sidekick for Tampa Bay. Raiders and the Commanders. Man, I think we get the good Ashton Genty game today, although I am a little concerned about it. I am starting Genty with confidence here, despite the early season not great games for Ashton Genty. And I do think Jeremy McNichols will be the pass down back for Washington, replacing Austin Eckler. But this should be a 20-carry Bill Krosky-Merritt game for Washington. Start him with confidence if you've got him. Falcons and the Panthers. I like Darnell Mooney in this game today for Atlanta, with Drake London likely to see shadow coverage from J.C. Horn. Kyle Pitts looks like he's back. What year is this? And Teteroa McMillan, 19 targets in 2 games. No A.J. Terrell. I do like me some Tet McMillan today, big time for Carolina. Texans and the Jags. I'm not scared of Brian Thomas or Travis Hunter. I'm starting all my Jaguars today and keep stashing Woody Marks for the Texans. I actually think he's their best running back, better than Nick Chubb. Broncos and the Chargers. Troy Franklin was great last week for Denver, 8 for 89 against the Indianapolis Colts. Sean Payton yo-yos his running backs and receivers. I'm still a little concerned about how this is going to go for Franklin. And Omarion Hampton, I'm more worried about him than I am about Ashton Genty with the Chargers' foibles in the run game. Saints and the Seahawks, again, just make sure you are monitoring the status of Jackson Smith and Jigba, added to the injury report with an illness. If he plays today, he should absolutely smash the New Orleans Saints. Cowboys and the Bears, you start everybody. You start CeeDee. You start George Pickens. You start Javonte Williams. You start DJ Moore. You start Rome Odunze. I guess you have to start DeAndre Swift, but I'm a little concerned. Hold Colston Loveland if you can. I think he will play better as the season moves along. And if Luther Burden plays well in this game, I think he's someone you're going to want to be eyeing on the waiver wire. He was Chicago's second-round pick, rookie wide receiver for the Bears. Cardinals and the Niners. I hope Trey McBride scores today. Trey Benson if you need him as a backup running back. And the Giants and the Chiefs. I do like Isaiah Pacheco quite a bit. I think this is his best game of the season after the Giants were ethered by Javonte Williams last week. If you need Wan'Dale Robinson, start him. Shamari Connor's been roasted in the slot. And Cam Scatterbo looks like the running back to own in this Giants backfield, handling all the red zone touches over Dick's grandson, Tyrone Tracy. All right, that does it for the Week 3 NFL Sunday edition of You Better You Bet here on The Fan. Football Sunday with my good friend, the great Mark Malusis, is coming up next. So until we meet again, dear listener, next Sunday morning at 8 a.m., and if you want to follow me on Instagram, I post betting content there, at the Kostos, TheKostos. I am Nick Kostos, wishing you, as always, minimal sweats.